hello to you, everyone. Good Monday evening. It is 9 o'clock. It is time for us to go over our big headlines as we start this week. I'm Taylor Eaton. Glad to have you joining us here at WSAZ Plus. We've got a lot to get to here to get you caught up on the top stories of the day. So we're just going to jump right into it. One of our biggest stories of the night is the weather. Just a little bit ago here in Huntington, it was about 7:30. I stepped outside and took this video as we got that fresh coating of snow on the ground. So this was about 7:30 this evening, and that quick snowfall put down a fresh coating, as you see here, on the sidewalks, covering the roads. So our big problem overnight and into tomorrow morning as the kids are heading off to school is going to be slick travel. We are seeing some delays already on WSAZ.com. So parents, it would be very beneficial for you before you take the kids to school in the morning or you take them out to the bus stop. Go ahead and check that. Make sure that their school is not operating on a delay, because we are seeing a few of those. But slick travel is going to be a big concern for us with those temperatures getting really cold overnight and that fresh snowfall. That could cover some of those slick spots. So just make sure you're taking it extra slow. Allow yourself some extra time, as always, as we talk about in the wintertime. It's just good to kind of follow that practice. So Emily is going to get us caught up on that forecast on that first alert weather day for us, because it's still in place for tomorrow morning. So she will join us with full reports for you on the weather front coming up at 10 and 11. In the midst, though, of all of that weather today, tonight, we still have a crash that is affecting traffic. I just checked a few minutes ago on West Virginia 511 on the map to see if traffic was still slow going in Kanawha County on I-79, and it is. So we have some video just back from the scene of this crash, and I can tell you what we know about this one. This was a semi, according to first responders, hauling steel coils, crashed on I-79 South, and it was about 6 o'clock this evening, right near the Clendenin exit. First responders saying at one point that semi was also leaking diesel fuel. So this has been a major cleanup process for the crews that have responded to this one. And traffic was backed up for a good bit, with drivers stopped behind that crash, others that were trying to find a detour around it. And at times, in order for them to clean up this crash, they've had to close portions of the northbound side as well. But you can see it's a mess with that fresh snowfall, slick travel conditions through the area. They did say it is going to take a while for them to be able to finally reopen everything through that stretch. So if you've got to head I-79 overnight into tomorrow morning, I just keep an eye out for that one. We'll let you know if the road does in fact reopen, but so far we've not gotten word. Again, just checked with 511, and it was still showing traffic able to get through the area. I think they've been able to finally reopen a couple of those lanes, but it's just not everything fully reopened. So if you got to head through that area, just make sure you're watching for the workers. They are still going to be out there, but we'll let you know if things fully reopen before that point. Our next top story tonight that we are following, an arrest now in a double shooting. 2 men killed in this one. Actually, I should say 3 people shot in this one. 2 people killed, though. And we have learned of an arrest now. This shooting, we first told you about it on Friday. And we are learning some new information about how investigators were able to track down this man and arrest him. He is now charged in a double murder from Huntington that happened at the end of last week. And Huntington Police touched on this today. They did an update with us in a press conference addressing the media about this case, and they said it was because of the partnership of local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and also federal law enforcement involved with this one. And U.S. Marshal sharing a little bit more about this man and his arrest, saying they led the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force to arrest Kevonte White on Sunday. He was picked up in Ohio. Officials say that he allegedly got into an argument with a group of men in the 300 block of 14th Street on Friday. Huntington police saying that argument then escalated, and that led to shots being fired, and 2 men were killed as a result. Huntington police said it was Adrian Phillips and Darius Johnson, and a third person was hurt in that shooting. Huntington police updating today saying that person is still in the hospital but is in stable condition. And let me show you some scene video from the day that happened. Investigators saying that White was quickly identified as the suspect in this case. They said they were able to move very quickly on this one. And investigators discovered that he was likely hiding out in Ohio. So they went to the area where they thought he might be. They said that was in Canton, Ohio on Grandview Avenue Sunday. The U.S. Marshal Service saying that he will remain in custody at the Stark County Jail, and eventually he will be brought back to West Virginia to face charges in this case. So that's the latest information we have on that story. It was breaking news for us on Friday. The newest information just released today by Huntington Police, though, as to how they were finally able to make an arrest in this case. All right, next tonight, news of another arrest. And you have to listen to the details of this one because this man is facing charges in a couple of different cases now because of what happened. This man was arrested, according to investigators, for being naked. He didn't have any clothes on, and he was at Mardi Gras Casino. Now facing a murder charge, though, in southern West Virginia. So let me share the details of this one with you here tonight on WSAZ+. We've learned that Thomas Lawson Jr. was arrested early Sunday morning at the casino. Nitro police say that he walked up to an officer, it didn't have any clothes on, and made an obscene gesture. And police say he then tried to run from them. Well, the officer quickly able to get him to the ground, make the arrest. Then it was discovered that this man was wanted in McDowell County, West Virginia, for allegedly killing his father, Thomas Lawson. And they say that happened in the Trail Hollow area near Yeager. Now, his dad was discovered dead at about 10:30 on Saturday night. And we've learned from the criminal complaint in this case that he is accused of shooting his father several times in the back. So he was taken into custody. Now he's in South Central Regional Jail. And our reporter, Caden Bonecutter, is going to have a full report on this one tonight at 10 and 11 as far as new details that we have learned in the investigation, because now this involves a couple of different areas of West Virginia. So we'll let you know in that story at 10 and 11 what she has discovered from the court documents. That story will also be posted on WSAZ.com. If for any reason you're not able to join us at 10 and 11, we'll make sure to post her full report for you. All right, it is a marathon meeting right now at Huntington City Council. We've got our other reporter, Luke Hamilton. He is stationed there at Huntington City Hall. But this meeting has been going on for a while now, and I just looked, and it's still going on here. It's almost 9:10, and they had a lot on the agenda this evening. One of the big topics of discussion, parking changes in the city of Huntington. Let me go over a couple of those possible changes they're looking at. Now, again, we haven't heard back yet on this one, if they've actually taken up a vote on this. There were a couple of different options as to what could happen with these changes tonight. We learned from the Huntington Municipal Parking Board Executive Director that council had a couple of options on the table, that they could come up with some changes on their own. They could discuss those, possibly look at those, and maybe move this to another meeting, depending on what they would like to change. Or he said they have the option that things just stay as they are, they vote it through, and it then would put those changes into effect. So let me go over a few of those that we're talking about here at WSAZ+. So they said the changes, first of all, come after a 2021 study, and that was done to compare the city of Huntington to cities of similar sizes. And when it comes to parking and spaces and how it's enforced and all of those different elements. Well, from that study came several recommendations. One being raising the fine that drivers pay when they fail to pay the meter. So they're looking at increasing that from $5 to $25. Another thing they're looking at is developing special event parking, and that would extend the hours of enforcement that they're able to enforce those special event parking standards. Those are just a couple of the highlights. There are a few other things that they're looking at kind of under the umbrella of the parking changes, and it's drawing mixed reaction. The executive director, when we spoke with him for the Huntington Municipal Parking Board, he said he felt as though the parking in Huntington was being taken advantage of and some of those policies that are in place. And he felt the changes were necessary. We spoke with business owners, though, however, that disagreed and said that parking is very limited in the city of Huntington, they feel. And they don't want to see this happen because they're worried it may deter business away. So this is still being discussed at Huntington City Council. We are going to let you know if that finishes up before 10 and 11. We'll have the result for you at 10 and 11. If not, we will let you know later on WSAZ.com what ends up happening. And something else that they're talking about at Huntington City Council tonight, levy funding for the Tri-State Transit Authority, so for public transportation in the area. And that is a discussion that is still ongoing at this moment. That is the topic that Luke Hamilton is going to be focused in on for his story at 10 and 11. So as I mentioned, it's a marathon meeting. It is still going on at the moment. So I'm sorry I don't have a lot of those results just for you yet, but it's still right now the meeting in session. So hopefully at 10 and 11, we'll have some of those results for you. If, again, as I mentioned, for any reason you can't join us then, we will make sure to have stories up on WSAZ.com. That way you can get caught up on your reading and find out a little bit more about what happened. Finally tonight, though, here on WSAZ Plus, to finish up our headlines, some great news and amazing to hear about the capabilities of technology nowadays. I watched this video earlier, and it really is amazing to see how first responders are able to use drone technology now to not just be able to get a bird's eye view of a scene, but to be able to communicate with each other. We've seen this type of technology used in a number of circumstances as fire departments, police departments, other agencies have rolled out this type of technology as their members have been trained and have been able to communicate and in cases arrest suspects, and now in this latest case, able to find a group of missing teenagers and get them to safety. So listen to this, terrifying moments for this group of teens, likely thanking this technology for coming to help them in their time of need. Firefighters telling us those teens got lost in the woods. They were out riding a side-by-side in a remote area right at the Cabell County, Mason County line, and this was over the weekend. Those teens, according to first responders, ended up encountering some unexpected high water, and it flooded their side-by-side and left them stranded. Well, the Valley Fire and Rescue Team answered that call, and that's what you're seeing, this drone video. Some of it is in black and white, and that's what you're seeing here. They said that through a grant, they've been able to get this advanced drone technology, and that allowed them to spot the teens from the sky, and they were able to communicate with each other to pick up on their exact location. They said it identified things like heat signatures, and it guided crews right to the exact GPS coordinates of where those teens were located. They said they found them. Thankfully, they were not hurt. They got them safely out to the area, or out of the area that they were in, and they got them reunited with their families. So it's just amazing to hear what they're able to do with this type of technology. It gives them a much different perspective than what they're able to see on the ground, and in a lot of circumstances, able to get to areas that they may not be able to reach by foot. It gives them kind of that above view in order to be able to help in cases like this. So just amazing to hear that. And we're so glad that those teens have been reunited with their families and that they're doing all right tonight. So that's going to do it for us here on WSAZ Plus. That's a look at some of the big stories we've got for you at 10 and 11. I hope you'll join us, though, because it's a busy night of news. Tends to be that way for us as we get the week started. So we'll have all of those top stories for you at 10 and 11 on the Tri-State CW and on WSAZ. If you can't join us for any of those, though, make sure you're checking WSAZ.com as we post the very latest outcomes of all of those big stories for you on our website. Thank you so much for being here for WSAZ Plus, as always. Appreciate you starting the week off here with me. For now, I'm Taylor Eaton. Hopefully, I'll see you back here tomorrow, and I hope all of you have a great start to the day. Just take it slow. You might run into some slick spots. So if you got to travel overnight or into tomorrow morning to take the kids to school or head into work, just be careful. I'll see you back tomorrow, everyone.